The system failed Meela Miller. A child's cries for help were ignored. Today, we're talking about a case that's almost impossible to comprehend. A case involving an 8-year-old little girl named Meela Miller, a child who should have been protected, a child who should have been safe. Instead, Meela endured unimaginable abuse, and according to reports, multiple warnings were raised before her death. And still, no one stepped in to save her. Meela Miller was only 8 years old when she died on September 10th of 2022. For 7 years, Meela had been living with her aunt, who was her legal guardian. The aunt and her boyfriend were supposed to provide love, care, and protection. Instead, investigators would later uncover allegations of horrific abuse. But what makes this case even more disturbing is what happened after Meela died. According to authorities, Meela's death was never reported. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Then, in December of 2022, more than 2 months after Meela's death, the aunt and her boyfriend arrived at a funeral home with Meela's body inside a coffin. The funeral home requested the documentation required to proceed. When the couple could not provide it, the staff contacted police. That decision would expose a tragedy that had been hidden for months. Investigators noted that Meela appeared extremely small and malnourished for her age. When questioned, the aunt and boyfriend reportedly gave conflicting explanations about how Meela died. The aunt claimed Meela choked while drinking a strawberry milkshake. The boyfriend claimed the child had simply been sick. But as investigators dug deeper, even more disturbing details emerged. According to court documents, the boyfriend admitted that he slapped Meela twice on the day she died. He also admitted to tying her up using a bathrobe in a restraint he described as being similar to a straitjacket. He told investigators that Meela would be restrained for 4 to 6 hours a day. 4 to 6 hours every day. Court documents also allege that the aunt would strike Meela's toes with a hammer as punishment. Think about that. An 8-year-old child allegedly subjected to physical abuse, restraints, humiliation, and neglect by the very people responsible for her care. But here's the question that continues to haunt this case. How did no one stop it? Because people tried. According to reports, neighbors repeatedly called police expressing concerns about domestic violence and child malnourishment. School employees also raised alarms. In fact, records reportedly showed at least a dozen calls from concerned citizens and school staff, a dozen opportunities, a dozen chances to investigate, a dozen chances to potentially save a child's life. And yet Meela still died. Following her death, Child Protection Services acknowledged receiving 4 reports between February and August of 2022. However, CPS stated that all 4 reports were screened out because they did not meet the legal definition of child abuse or neglect under the state law. That statement has left many people asking difficult questions. How does a child who allegedly suffered such severe abuse fall through every crack? How do multiple reports from neighbors and school employees fail to trigger meaningful intervention? How does a child become so malnourished that investigators immediately notice her condition, yet concerns are dismissed? These are questions that deserve answers because Meela was not just a case number. She was a little girl. She had dreams. She had a future. She deserved safety. She deserved protection. She deserved adults willing to act when warning signs appeared. Instead, her story has become another heartbreaking reminder of what can happen when reports are ignored, concerns are dismissed, and systems fail to respond. No child should have to endure what Meela endured. No child should die after so many warning signs were raised, and no child should be forgotten. Today, we remember Meela Miller. We say her name. We acknowledge her suffering. And we continue demanding accountability for every missed opportunity that could have changed the outcome of her life. Rest in peace, Meela. You deserved so much better.